Hi Dobby, the Fixing Elf here, back with another C-Max video, and in this one I'm going to show you how to replace the starter motor in this 2 litre diesel. The first step in this repair is to remove the negative battery terminal. This is a 10mm. It's good practice to always do this when you're working on anything electrical in your car. Once you have the 10mm loose, it's time to pull the cable out of the way. The next job is to remove the air intake pipe, so I'm just using a flathead screwdriver here to loosen off the worm clamp, or Jubilee clip, depending on what you want to call it. And once I've got it loose enough, I'll start giving it a wiggle, just to wiggle it off. They are quite tight on here without the clamps anyway. As you can see, I had to use both hands, and the reason why we're removing the intake pipe is to give us better access to the starter solenoid. There's 2 connections that we need to remove from there. Once you have the pipe off, just put it to one side. You don't need to disconnect it from anywhere else. We'll now have plenty of space to get to the starter solenoid. Now it's time to start removing the wiring from the starter motor. We'll start with this top 13mm fastener. There's also another 10mm that you need to remove. The one on this one has already broken off, and that's what's causing the starting issue. It's broken the stud straight off the starter solenoid. I'll show you that in just a bit. For now we're just working this 30mm out, and as you've seen, I've taken the socket off the ratchet now, and I'm just using that to work the fastener out. This is quite an effective little trick. Once you break them loose, you can use the socket just to give you a bit of extra practice on the nut. And then I'll switch over to my fingers to finish it off. Now all we have to do is just remove the wiring harness from the starter solenoid. I also removed the bottom fastener off this. You don't need to, it's just connected to the starter motor itself. Obviously normally you have to remove the 10mm fastener, but that's already been broken off on this, so I can't remove it very easily while it's like this, so I'll remove it once it's off the car. To get the wiring harness off, it's just a gentle wiggle really, as you've seen me do here. As you can see, as I turn over this wiring connector, there's the broken off stud with the nut still intact. Using a mini pry bar, I'm just going to quickly pop open this black case so I can remove the top wire to make it easier to repair the bottom broken off stud. To deal with the broken off stud, I just chopped off the bit of the cable with the connector on, as the starter motor I got came with replacement parts that I'll clamp on in just a bit. So I was able to clip it off with a pair of pliers and just pull it out of the plastic housing. To remove the rest of the wire, just follow it back until you find the connector. Give the connector a gentle squeeze and it'll pop out. This makes it easier for crimping the new connector on in just a moment. So as I mentioned earlier, the replacement starter motor came with a replacement wire. So I'm just cutting a small section of the original wire off and then stripping it back to get myself some fresh copper, and then I'll be crimping it together using the crimp connector on the wire that come with the starter motor. I use a pair of crimpers here. These are really good, they're ratcheting crimpers. There'll be watching toolbox on these at some point. Wire also came with a bit of heat shrink on it along with the crimp connection. I wasn't too keen on this, so I decided to put another piece of heat shrink over the top, and that's what you're seeing here. I also had to enlarge the hole in which the wire connector goes through, just because the new connector is slightly bigger. Now it's time to remove the old starter motor itself. This is held on by 3 30mm bolts that go from the gearbox side of the engine into the starter motor. There's 2 that are parallel with each other at the top and 1 further down. This is one of the ones at the top, the one that's closest to the U as you're looking for the front of the car. This is the easiest one to get to, so I recommend breaking this one loose and then moving on to the others before completely removing this. Now it's time to remove the lowest of the bolts. It's down sort of by where the coolant pipe comes at the bottom of the radiator for a rough location for you, obviously on the engine. As you can see, I broke it loose with a spanner, and then I got my 13mm socket and stuck on it to give me a bit of extra leverage to wind it out. It's definitely the bolt I recommend to remove first. It just makes it easier later on when you're trying to remove the starter itself. And as you can see, that bolt's now out. Time to move on to the next one. The second bolt to remove is the second one at the top. It's really quite difficult to film, so this is where you haven't seen me breaking it off, but I broke it off the same way with a spanner and then I worked it out by hand. Unfortunately the angle and the light wasn't with me for filming, so this is the best I could do. I've increased the brightness so you can at least see a bit. Hopefully you get the gist of what I'm trying to show here. Now it's time to remove the final bolt, which is the first one we broke loose earlier on. Obviously being loose, it turns out by hand. You just have to take the weight of the starter motor, So I've got one hand on the starter motor where I'm wheeling it out, and that's where I can correct the camera here. But yeah, just a matter of quickly working it out. Once you have the bolt all the way out, you notice this starter motor starts to separate from the gearbox housing, and now it's time to get it out. I would plan to take out the top, but the weight of it sort of dragged it through the bottom, so it fell out on the floor, as you see here. Luckily we're not reusing this part, but if we were reusing the part, the starter motor would be fine. But normally there should be a bottom tray on these, there isn't one on this one though. But yeah, now it's out. And here's just a quick comparison between the two starter motors. As you can see, the one on the top is the new one, and the one on the bottom is the old one. Before I put the starter motor back in, I'm just going to make sure that it's got a clear path to go back in, so I'm moving out any pipes or cables that are in the way or may get caught. To get the starter motor back in from the top, all you have to do is angle the end with the solenoid on down towards the floor, and then slide it in as you see me do here. It does slip in relatively easily from the top. Moving those cables certainly helped. And once you've got it in place, all you have to do is pull it forward back into the gearbox, and it should slide in relatively nicely. And then all you have to do is get some of the fasteners in to hold it in place. You have to keep the weight on the starter motor off while you're starting the fasteners. I always start my fasteners by hands anyway, to stop them from cross-threading. But yeah, all you have to do is hold the weight of the starter motor while you're threading them in. I'm putting all three in here. I've skipped the part of me threading them in by hand, but as you can see they're all started now. Now it's just a simple matter of tightening down all three fasteners. So I started with the top one first, the one closest to you, the last one removed. And yeah, just tighten that down. And then I moved on to the other top one that's further back, slightly harder to get to. And yeah, just tighten it down with my ratchet to get it nice and tight. And then I moved on to the final one, which is the second easiest one to get to. And yeah, I just worked my way around these. They took about 2 or 3 minutes each to get nice and tight. So in each of the little clips you've seen, I've just got to the end point and just showing you that, just so you can see I'm going nice and tight. As you can see, it draws the starter motor straight into the gearbox. So after reconnecting the black plastic housing that I forgot to film unfortunately to the wiring harness, it's time to get the 2 wires connected to the solenoid. This needs a bit of a wiggle, and you just have to make sure you get them both lined up. I found it easy to get the top one lined up first, and then using the extra slack I had, I could get the bottom one on easier. But after a little bit of wiggling, as I said earlier, you'll get them both on, and then it's time to start putting some nuts on. When you put the nuts on, don't forget to put the washers on as well. These are quite important. I've already started the bottom one. I didn't film it, I'll show you a bit of footage of that in just a second. But this is me just starting the top one. I'll tighten it down in just a moment. And here's just a bit of footage of me starting the 10mm. I got this footage using my endoscope. As you can see, it's quite clear. Once I start this, I'll tighten it down with a ratchet in just a moment. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record for the final tightening down of the 10mm fastener. But I've just tightened down this 14mm fastener. I know it was a 13 when we began, but it's a 14 on the new starter motor. So just a quick tighten down. The last electrical connection to the starter motor we need to make now is connect the connector that we disconnected earlier. Let's simply just push it into place, as you see here. I'll come back and cable tie this firmly up so it can't wiggle around like it has been. The next step is to reconnect the air intake that we disconnected at the beginning. So all we have to do is just push it into place and then tighten down this Jubilee clamp or worm clamp, depending on what you want to call it. This takes a few moments. Once you've got this intake on, it's a good idea just to have a quick look around the engine to make sure nothing's been disconnected while you've been putting this new starter motor in. So the last thing we need to do is just reconnect the negative battery terminal. It doesn't take long, again it's 10mm, just have to tighten it down and then we're good to test the starter out. And as you can hear, the engine now starts, and that's how you change the starter motor in this Ford Focus C-Max with a 2-litre diesel engine. If you enjoyed this video, why not drop a like? Any questions or feedback? Let me know in the comments. I normally drop 2 videos a week, so if you haven't subbed to the channel yet, you should, and then you'll never miss another video. Do you know anyone else who would enjoy watching this video? Then feel free to share it with them. Thanks for watching until the end. Have a sensational day.